speaker card under public comment. We have no neighborhood council commentary. And we have one speaker card under item 1, our bid opening.
Great, thank you for that, Mr. Knight. We have a, well, good morning to everyone and welcome to everybody that's here in person and everybody that's joining us via Zoom platform. Thank you for being here and in tune in our meeting. It's a nice and beautiful Wednesday out there, so excited that we're quite in the middle of March, or getting in the middle of March now. We do have a very special presentation today. We have a recognition award for retirement from LA San. Before I get to that, and we have our LA San folks here supporting our retiree that's about to leave us and enjoy a fruitful life. But before we get to that, I do have to take care of a couple of items, which I'm going to take the minutes, and I'm going to take item number 1. After that, we will get into our presentation. All right, moving on to the approval. Before I actually do that, we do have general public comment, correct? Let's take general public comment now.
Very good. Barbara, would you please unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your public comment.
Hello. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for hearing me. On general public comment, I wanted to note and let you know that the Year 2 staff list of proposed transit shelters was never released openly to the public in advance. It did go apparently to council district offices with no notice to the public and interested parties, and this is a real disappointment to us. We had that same problem with Year 1 lists, and now it was repeated again in Year 2. I'd also like to ask for some written progress reports on staff and what is to be expected in the coming year. We have the Year 1 list, we have the Year 2 list, we haven't seen any installations, we haven't seen any drawings for the shade structures, and we don't know when things are going to come out and what kind of an altered time schedule there might be on it. So that's of concern. Also, we noticed that the RFP for Ike was approved by the council, but there's been no outreach, and I'm hoping that Public Works, working with tourism, will do public outreach before an RFP is written and issued, so that there is an opportunity to air this in public. There has been no public presentation. The Ike program has been promoted to bids and chambers and never to the public neighborhood councils or community councils. And people are very concerned that it will compete with staff, it will degrade our streets, it will take the place of street trees, and that this will be very problematic. And it has not. Again, an RFP was approved before any public airing of the program has taken place. So I appreciate your hearing this and noting it. And I will cease and come back to you in item number 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I do see another caller who is on the Zoom virtual platform who has raised their hand. Would you like me to see if this caller ending in 631 would like to offer public commentary? Caller ending in 631, would you please identify yourself for the record and which item you'd like to speak on?
Hi, good morning. I just saw that the meeting was up here. This would be for general comment, if that's okay, if you're taking comment at this time.
Yes, and your name, sir?
My name is Andrew Rudick.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead. You have 2 minutes to offer your public comment.
Thank you very much. I just became aware in reviewing, I've been petitioning for the city to remove Donald Trump's name from the Walk of Fame, which is, according to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, city property. Obviously, it's a historic cultural monument. I will be speaking to the Department of Cultural Affairs commissioners at their upcoming meeting on the 13th. However, I did want to make it known because it's a potential issue of illegality, and obviously I'm not giving legal advice here, but Section 22.109 is in direct conflict with Section 28.04B of the Municipal Code. And what's happening right now is Walk of Fame stars are being installed. Last year they were being installed prior to even City Council approval as required under city policy. But ostensibly, as 22.109 indicates, the Department of Cultural Affairs should have to approve every single additional star added to the walk as a piece of art that is being altered over city property and on city property. So, this has to be addressed. I'm not sure if anyone in the commissioner's office wants to address it, but this is also a 501c6 organization, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, who has taken advantage of a historic resource by charging exorbitant fees for plaques that only cost a few $1,000s, and then inflating this this lobbying organization for their own interests. And I believe it's a conflict of interest. This is city property, and we shouldn't be allowing such gross conduct by them. And I mean, I'd say more. I don't have the time to get into it. But the direct conflict right now is 22.109, and I've already directed it to the city attorney's office, but I believe your board should probably look into it as well, too. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes public comment.
Thank you for that. Public comments now officially closed. Moving on to the first item in today's business, which is the approval of minutes for Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. Is there a second to my motion to approve this item? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. TJ Knight, there's a first by me and a second by Commissioner Reyes to approve the minutes of Wednesday, February 21st, 2024.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote, starting with you, Madam President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corsand.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is approved.
Great, thank you very much. And I know Mr. Reginald Moore is ready to retire, but with just one more item to take, and then we're going right to you. Agenda item number 1, these are bids received at 10 a.m. Bids will be received at 10 a.m. for the following public works project: Council District 5, Midvale Tiny Home Village, work order E1909097, estimate amount of $1,790,300 in Council District 5. And Mr. Knight, can we open the bids now?
Yes, President Garcia, just a friendly reminder that we do have a public commenter via Zoom, if you'd like to take that at this time.
Yes, please.
Okay, caller Barbara, you should receive a prompt asking you to unmute. And go ahead, and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary on the bid opening.
Thank you very much. My name is Barbara Brody, representing Westwood South of Santa Monica Boulevard Homeowners Association. I would like to note that there is no evidence in the file or on this project that the DWP has released or can release the easement for construction of these tiny homes under or near the crossbars of the high power lines. I understand there's state law that requires some release related to a 6-foot distance from the edge of the cross arms of high energy power lines, and this has not been done. So I believe it's premature to be letting RFPs for construction work related to the project given that requirement. Also, I note that there has been no effort to address the cost of or the contracting for operators of this project. We know that projects, interim housing projects, are meant to be 50 units or more. This is 33 units. It's less. It will cost less per unit to operate. The public and the decision makers have no ideas of the ultimate total cost of operating this particular installation and facility. So we think it's premature to be moving forward with letting an RFP without clarifying these issues. Thank you so much.
And
And that concludes commentary on item number 1, the bid opening.
thank you for that, Mr. Knight. Public comments for item number 1 is now officially closed. Mr. Knight,
Yes.
taking it back to you.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So we've received 1 bid for our bid opening this morning, and it is, the bidder is Ford EC Incorporated. Ford EC's total bid amount is $2,773,881 to $773,881. And that concludes today's bid opening.
Thank you, Mr. Knight and Mr. Castellanos, for opening our bids. Colleagues, is there a motion on the table to accept and adopt today's bids? Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Mr. Knight, there's a first by Commissioner Corson and a second by Commissioner Reyes to adopt and approve today's bids.
Very well, we'll take a roll call vote, starting with you, Madam President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
And the bids are received, open, and declared forthwith unanimously.
Okay. Thank you for that. Very well. Colleagues, we are going to turn right now to celebrate and recognize the longstanding work of one of our very own, Mr. Reginald Moore, Refuse Collector Truck Operator 2 from the Bureau of Sanitation, who is now retiring after serving 35 years for the city of Los Angeles. And with that, I welcome the sanitation team and Mr. Moore up to the podium.
Seems like I'm doing more and more of these every week.
You're getting good at it.
Good morning, commissioners, bureau representatives, executive officer, and city attorney. I'm Robert Potter, the assistant director of LA SAN. Oh, no problem. I have the honor today to recognize Mr. Reginald Moore on his 36 years of city service and his retirement. A little work history on Mr. Moore and some highlights. Reggie entered the United States Navy in 1981 on active duty until 1985. He then transitioned to reserves, where he continued his service in the reserves until 2003 and retired as a reservist in 2003. Continuing his commitment to service, Reggie began his career with the City of Los Angeles after leaving Taylor Bus Service Company. He was first hired by the city on February 22nd, 1988, as a maintenance laborer in Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment, and worked at the Hyperion Treatment Plant. He worked at Hyperion for a year and was quickly promoted to refuse collection truck operator in the Solid Resource Collection Division on March 2nd, 1989. He was assigned to the South Los Angeles District and drove an automated refuse collection truck, the sidearm grabbing truck that picks up trash for us every single day. In 2006, a little history, LA SAN took over the landfill operations at LAWA, at the Los Angeles World Airport. This created a need for drivers dedicated to the program that would be full-time assigned. These drivers had to go through an extensive background check, because you don't just get to drive on the LA runways without having a good background, and learn and receive training on operating on the restricted areas. It's not safe to be out there with big jets driving around, and so you have to go through a lot of training. Reggie signed up for this program at LAX in April of 2006. Reggie was with all of his previous assignments, has proved not only a great driver, but an outstanding representative of LA SAN. He was dedicated and could be counted on to get the job done every day without a complaint. Reggie is an example for everyone who would want to, he's an example of everybody you would want on your team, and was a role model for many drivers in his career. We would like to thank Reggie's family, his wife, CJ, his daughter, Dakota Moore, and his goddaughter, Martinique Usher, for sharing them with us for the last 36 years. Hopefully he'll get many more years to spend time with his family. Reggie has many interests and plans to stay fit and do a lot of walking, going to football games, and just enjoy life with his family. He also loves home improvement, traveling, attending sporting events, and likely returning back to sanitation on a 120-day, if everything goes well, to assist LA SAN as we move forward. I'm sure the home improvement list will get a little longer now that he's got a little more time on his hands. We are so happy for Reggie to reach this milestone. He has been an asset to our organization for all the years, and we will miss seeing him every day. Reggie? You guys?
Reggie, right before you speak, I think, first of all, is there any other ones that want to come up and speak for Reggie?
Mike?
Hang on, Reggie, you're almost ready to go home.
I'd just like to say that it's been great working with Reggie, and really became good friends. And we talked a lot about the job and a lot about personal stuff. And I don't know how I'm going to do without him. I'm really struggling.
Oh,
But we'll still keep in touch and have a great friendship. But this is number one right here.
oh. Maybe you can help him do his home improvement projects. Anyone else that want to say anything? We always open it up to anybody. Very well. Let us give you some of your accolades before you go, and then we want to hear you kind of give your departing speech. So let me turn this over to, we'll start with Commissioner Corson, and then I'll go with Dr. Davis, Commissioner Reyes, and then I'll just close it up after that.
Thank you. Congratulations. 36 years. You don't look a day over 36, so you must have started right when you were born. And I see you're wearing a matching brown tie with Bob Potter. Must be the uniform he forces you to wear that you no longer have to wear. 36 years is a long time in just one company in this country these days. Like even 10 years is a lot. And I marvel at so many of our city family members who are retiring after decades of service and really seeing the city change and evolve and being leaders in your own way of building up the departments we have. And if Bob Potter is here dressed up on a Wednesday morning in March rather than at spring training, you must be someone very special. And I'm sorry that I had not had a chance to meet you before now, but I have a feeling your presence will definitely be missed. So thank you for your service and all of your contributions, not just to LA Sanitation, but to the city itself.
Thank you. Dr. Davis?
Thank you so much, President Garcia. And Reggie, I want to commend you for being a role model and an example. Your career, as it has been described, really is an exemplar of public service. And first of all, thank you for serving this country in the United States Navy, and further enhancing your service to this country by serving as a reserves. And I think really critically important of all of the assignments you have, I have the greatest appreciation that you had the privilege to serve in South Los Angeles, where a lot of our boys and girls could see someone that looked like them working for the city. As you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion is so critically important. And it's important for young people, particularly young people in our region, to see themselves working for the city. And through the work that you have done every day, believe it or not, they aspire to do what they have seen. And I appreciate you being that role model that we could see in the city of Los Angeles. And also, I think when you reflect back upon your service, you have worked for probably the most dynamic Bureau of Sanitation in the country when you look at the other major cities in the United States. And so you have served us well. And the best thing of all is that you're young enough to walk out of here and enjoy all of it. And so I look forward to the future things that you might do in the community as well. Being very armed with not only serving your country, but serving the community in which you have made your living. And so for you, we're eternally grateful, and congratulations.
Commissioner Reyes?
Reggie, I know you'll be back. We'll make sure of that. But first and foremost, grateful, gratitude, appreciation, and recognition of the work that you did for the city. Because you're part of the city family, you can't just leave us. You will still be connected. But I want to thank your family, first and foremost, for giving you to us for 36 years. And really serving the community. Your job is not easy, and your job is something that some folks don't really want to do. But your job is critical to the community's health and safety and sustainability. So thank you for your work and for all your contributions. As my colleague here said, that you are a role model. We would love for you to continue contributing to the community, whether you're helping us do outreach to get more folks into your type of work here in the city of Los Angeles, because we do need your expertise, your type of skill sets as we navigate the waste management issues here that we have in the big city of Los Angeles. But first and foremost, enjoy your retirement. Take a breather, relax. This is a new chapter in your life. Enjoy it with your family. And I really would like to see you being part of a community effort, because I know your passion and your commitment are the driving forces for you to be able to stay for 36 years and to serve your country as well. Thank you so much, Reggie. From the bottom of my heart and from our colleagues here, we wish you all the luck and happy journey in this specific chapter called retirement, but really not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all my colleagues. And Reggie, I want to first and foremost, on behalf of 6,000 members of the Public Works family, want to congratulate you and wish you a very well and well-deserved retirement. Your position is very respectful position, and it's a position that many probably don't think of it, but it's a very respectful and prideful position that you have as an RCTO. And so I always commend that work, because I, as a city of LA, born and raised here in our backyard in the city of LA, back in the 80s, the folks that picked up the trash were kind of like part of our community as well. We had like a relationship with them, and even at times you would come out and be like, "Hey, he's here." You're like, so I was a kid in LA doing that, and I remember always thinking how they were those folks that were part of our community were so committed to making sure that they were able to do that job very well. And so I just want to say that, you don't know how many lives you touched in this 36 years as a worker in sanitation and LAX and all that. You just don't know. And many of folks won't even know who you are, but you touched the life of more than 4 million people in your 36 years here. And no one can ever take that away from you. And you'll be able to say that to your godkids and to all the other kids that come around you, to say that you were part of such a magnificent profession in the second largest city of the nation. And so thank you so much for your time and for your service, and we appreciate you being here today. I know that my colleagues want to put you back to work right away, but I say to you, rest, because I think for the past at least 30 years, you've been waking up maybe, and Potter's going to tell me right now, like maybe 4:30 in the morning?
Midnight. Oh, that's right. He's on the LAX to midnight.
Oh, midnight, okay.
It runs midnight to 8 a.m.
Oh, that's right, midnight to 8 a.m. So now you get to just kind of have your time and enjoy your schedule, build your new schedule and your time. And that's really what I always think about for folks that have really worked with us for a long time, that you get to just now kind of rebuild your own time again. And so I wish you nothing but the best. And if you do want to come back, we always look forward to trainers, Bob, and, making sure that the next generation of RCTO drivers are just as good as all of you that are leaving us behind. So thank you for your time and for everything that you have done for the city. And with that, I turn it over to Bob. Well, I think you have to give a certificate out, Bob. You have to do the official certificate, and then we have Reggie giving us his farewell.
So this is a board presentation from the Board of Public Works for Reginald Moore, refuse collection truck operator in the Bureau of Sanitation. Congratulations on your many years of distinguished service and achievement in public service. Your professionalism and your dedication to the Department of Public Works and the citizens of Los Angeles is to be commended. Best wishes for you, your future health, prosperity, and happiness, and it's signed by every member of the board. Congratulations, Reggie.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, it's all you, Mr. Moore.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Board of Public Works, City of Los Angeles, Bureau of Sanitation, my whole career, 36 years, all in one department. My longest supervisor, Ms. Solis, for 18 years. Mr. McKay, Mr. Sheehan, Bob. It's just been it's kind of surreal standing here now. But I really want to thank sanitation for, if I wouldn't have had this job, I never would have met my wife. I met my wife while working on my route. But it's just like I said, it's a blessing. It's not much I can say. I'm just thankful for everything that you guys have allowed me to do. You know, own a home, raise a family. You know, with a beautiful salary. You know, it's no city. I was born and raised here. You know, I lived when I was Navy in San Francisco, in San Diego. I was in Chicago for a little bit, but there's no city, no country, no city better than this city, no state better than this state, and no country better than the United States. So with that, I just want to say, I want to thank you all and just say thank you.
Bob and Reggie, we'll take some pictures back here if you guys want to come. And everybody that's joining us, if you just wait about 5 minutes and we'll be right back. Thank you so much to the sanitation team for being here this morning. I really appreciate you all. Have a good rest of the day. All right, colleagues, moving now on, transitioning back to our business. It's always so hard when we do this. We kind of get our emotions all over the place, but we are now back on a chronological order, and I just want to make some annotations, which is item number 4 has been continued, correct, Mr. Knight?
That is correct, President Castillo. Just for the record as well, we're joined by Vice President Villegas at 10:29 a.m. You're correct. Item number 4 has been postponed to March 20th at the request of the Bureau. Also, item number 11, if you were going to address that next,
Yes.
is requested to be continued also to March 20th.
Okay, not a problem. March 20 is going to be a long day, but we will be ready for that. All right, well, moving on to item number 2. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering in Council Districts 4 and 13 for task order solicitation number 004M to Zoma's pre-qualified on-call consultant list, Glendale Hyperion Viaduct Complex Improvement Project Phase 2, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Zoma's from the pre-qualified on-call bridge, civil engineering, and other design and support services consultant list to provide engineering support services for the design support during construction and construction engineering phase of the Glendale Hyperion Viaduct Complex Improvement Project Phase 2, as stated in task order number 004M, with a budget authority of $1,858,441.87, which includes also contingency. And this morning, we have Mr. Andrew Asfor. Mr. Asfor, welcome.
Everyone hear me okay? Okay. Greetings, President Garcia and all commissioners. My name is Andrew Asfor. I'm a senior civil engineer with the Bureau of Engineering Bridge Improvement Division. The purpose of this board report is to issue task order solicitation 004M to the firm Somas from the Bridge Civil Engineering Pre-Qualified On-Call Consultants List to provide design support during construction and construction engineering services for the federally funded Glendale Hyperion Complex of Bridges Phase 2 project. The project scope consists of the seismic retrofit, structural widening, and historic rehabilitation of the complex of bridges that make up the Hyperion-Glendale Viaduct. The project will also consist of the reconfiguration of the I-5 off-ramp and will also include a bioinfiltration basin. And lastly, the project will provide full pedestrian and bicycle facilities along the entire bridge alignment. The Glendale Hyperion project is currently in bid and award phase. And issuing this task order solicitation to Somas is imperative, as Somas was the design engineer of record who prepared the bid package for the Glendale Hyperion project, and their knowledge of all phases and all facets of the project design and specifications, it will be vital during construction. So while the project still is technically in the bid and award phase, Somas will assist the city in refining the bid package to ensure that we obtain more competitive bids from contractors. Once the project is hereby awarded, Somas will then provide design support services during construction to augment and assist city staff. The total funding needed for this task would be for a not-to-exceed amount of $1,858,441.87, which includes contingency. The project is federally funded by the Caltrans Federal Highway Bridge Program, which will provide 88.53% of funds reimbursement for this task. The local match will be provided by the city's Measure R Local Return Fund at 11.47%. Somas has pledged a DBE goal of 14.96%, which exceeds the PQOC goal of 8%. Therefore, we respectfully request that the board approves this task order solicitation to Somas. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Very well for that. Thank you, too. Any questions, colleagues? Thank you for your report this morning, Mr. Asfor. I appreciate that. You were very thorough as well. Any questions from the board? Commissioner Reyes?
Can you unpack a little bit more on the situation where, because this is a federal state grant funding allocation, that it says here that a new or amended board report will not be produced if the components of funding sources are different in the future from this report. So how does that, who makes those decisions, and how does that fit into, like, the obligation of the city?
That's a great question, Commissioner Reyes. So this project is currently programmed and funded by the federal Caltrans Highway Bridge Program, and they've provided full funding for the construction budget and for the construction engineering budget, which funds the consultant services. And the Highway Bridge Program is a safety discretionary program, so we're programmed funds per fiscal year. But due to the recent inclusion of the Bridge Investment Program and other federal funding sources, HBP's funds have been limited as of the last 2 years. So that statement was added to the board report in the event that HBP is not able to provide further funds if we encounter major unforeseen conditions during construction, and we run out of funds. Essentially, that we'll have to work with Caltrans and other federal sources to provide additional funds. That's just basically a formality and just a backup scenario in case we run out of funds from federal HBP. But we have our local, basically, to answer your question, the funds are fully funded through Caltrans HPP, and they'll provide 88.53% of all funds within our construction and construction engineering budget.
Thank you for the info. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Any other questions, colleagues?
I want to expound on her inquiry as it relates to not giving an additional report to the board. I think, in fact, you're saying that because it's fully funded by the federal government, even in fact, if one of the federal agencies change, the funding still will be federal.
Correct.
So therefore, because it will still be federal funds, there will be no need for an additional report as it relates to the accountability for funding.
Correct.
And thus, the funding coming from the federal government dictates to us, in terms of business inclusion, how in fact we will have the makeup of those who will do the work in subcontracting and so forth. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis, for also clarifying that. Any other questions, colleagues? Can you describe just a little bit more on the scope of work that this project will do?
Sure, certainly. So the Glendale Hyperion project, it's the Glendale Hyperion Viaduct, which goes over the 5 freeway at Glendale Boulevard. It's the border of North Atwater Village, Los Feliz, and the city of Glendale. So we'll be basically widening the Glendale Boulevard bridges northbound and southbound. It's the 3 bridges that go over the 5 freeway and the LA River. So we'll be structurally widening the 2 spans that go over the LA River by 8.5 feet. We'll be adding pedestrian, a fully protected pedestrian sidewalk and bike lanes along the entire bridge alignment. We'll be retrofitting the 5 spans which go over the 5 freeway, Riverside Drive, and Waverly. And we'll also be reconfiguring the I-5 off-ramp, at the northbound off-ramp at Glendale Boulevard, to create a signalized intersection to improve maneuverability for vehicular and pedestrian and cyclist traffic in the area. We'll also be constructing a bioinfiltration basin at the Sunny Nook River Park on the other side of the 5 freeway to provide, treated inflow of, drainage off the bridge into the LA River. And basically, the project is also historic. It's been included in the National Register of Historic Places, so we'll be conducting a thorough historic rehabilitation in accordance with the Secretary of Interior's requirements. So it's kind of it's a complex of bridges, and it's a complex project. There's
Correct. And I know SOMAS has been a longstanding partner of ours, and that you stated that they have also the expertise and the knowledge to be able to provide engineering support services and design, right?
correct. They were the design engineer of record. They took over design services in 2016, and they finalized the bid package, the plans, the specifications, the calculations, and the city estimate. And then we did issue a separate task order in accordance with the federal requirements for design support during construction. 2 firms provided proposals, and SOMAS was clearly the most knowledgeable and firm that had the most expertise to take on this task
Got
to
it.
assist city staff.
Is this also preserve, and remind me, this might be another project that I'm thinking about, but is this also the project that's preserving the historical aspect? We just need to retrofit it because it needs to be earthquake safe? Is that the correct one?
Correct, yes. So the retrofit will just be to bring the bridge up to the latest seismic standards for resisting earthquakes. Currently, the bridge is deemed to be deficient for seismic response. So the retrofit portion will be to address seismic deficiencies. The historical rehabilitation will be to preserve the historic aspects, which are the octagonal pylons, the historic balustrade railing, as well as the light poles as well. So
Okay.
we'll basically be refurbishing or replacing the light poles. We'll be refurbishing the pylons, and we'll be refurbishing the historic balustrade railing that's there.
Got it. The light pole, is that with Bureau of Street Lighting?
Yes, Bureau of Street Lighting did provide the lighting design in accordance with SOMAS.
Okay. Okay. Make sure that we lock down those street light poles.
No, definitely.
All right. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none?
I
Oh,
had
sure.
just
Dr.
one
Davis.
briefly. In terms of you said recruitment and selection is still going on by SOMAS. Is that correct in terms of looking at, support services and consulting services? We're still in the phase of looking at how we're going to put that together, as SOMAS is.
Correct. SOMAS will
And-
be refining the bid package to
Sure.
they provided the final design specs and estimate, but they're going to do one final QA/QC review, and they'll be on board once the project goes out to bid and award to answer any technical questions.
Is there a time period certain in terms of completing that phase of the project?
Completing the construction phase?
The recruiting selection for support services that SOMAS is doing, is there a time period in which they have set to complete that
no.
phase?
It's not really recruiting services. SOMAS will be the prime consultant assisting
Okay.
city staff, and they'll just be refining the bid package, and then we'll send the project out for bid and award, and they'll assist us throughout the entire construction phase. The construction phase is anticipated to be 4 to 5 years.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions? Any objections? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 2 forward and forthwith? Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Mr. Knight, there's a first by VP Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Very well, we'll take a roll call vote on item number 2.
Hang on.
Thank you all.
Starting with you, Madam President.
Hang on, come back. We're not done yet. What if we say no?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Knight.
We'll take a roll call vote on item number 2, starting with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asfer. It was good seeing you this morning.
Thank you all.
Have a good rest of the day. Moving on to item number 3. This is a request from the Bureau of Sanitation and Council District 11 for a task order solicitation, task order SN-165 for Stantec Consulting Services, Inc., recommending the board to, 1, authorize the general manager of the Bureau of Sanitation to award task order SN-165 to Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. from the on-call consultant list. 2, approve a total budget of $220,000, including $20,000 in contingency to fund technical support services in the assessment, identification, and evaluation of possible areas for the construction of an emergency storage facility for digested sludge or biosolids with a storage capacity of 7 days minimum. And 3, approve the term of engagement beginning with the notice to proceed, date February 2024 to July 2024. And this morning, we have Mr. Sean Munoz here. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Hello, commissioners, and thank you. So my name is Sean Munoz, and I am from the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. I'm under the Resiliency and Vulnerability Mitigation Program Group. And so I'll be presenting on item 3, task order solicitation SN-165, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Emergency Storage Facility for digested sludge or biosolid study. And so,
Can you speak into the mic?
oh, sorry. So I will be reiterating what you had stated, President, first. I am here today to request and recommend the Board of Public Works to authorize the Director and General Manager of the Bureau of Sanitation or designee to award task order solicitation SN-165 to Stantec Consulting Services from the on-call list. 2, approve a total budget of $220,000, including $20,000 contingency to fund technical support services in the assessment, identification, and evaluation of possible areas or area for the construction of an emergency storage facility for digested sludge or biosolids with a storage capacity of 7 days minimum, and to approve the term of engagement beginning from the issuance date of the notice to proceed to July 22nd, 2024. And so just to provide a brief project background, our reasons for initiating this TOS is, so in order to improve the resiliency of the plant and as a response to the July 11, 2021 spill at Hyperion, we deemed it necessary that an emergency storage facility be constructed to provide operational flexibility during planned and unplanned events. Also, this will allow the plant to safely and efficiently perform other activities such as maintenance, project construction, assessments, studies. So specifically, this project will allow Hyperion to identify and evaluate a potential location or potential locations for the construction of an emergency storage facility. Right now, there is no reliable method of storing digested sludge or biosolids for emergency purposes. So it's very critical that we do this assessment so we can continue to meet permit requirements, continue to use our biosolids for beneficial reuse, and to prevent any spills. And so similar to all our other projects, we want to ensure that Hyperion continues to meet all requirements while transforming into a 100% recycled facility by 2035. Also to upgrade aging Hyperion facilities in order for the plant to meet all our permit requirements, such as our NPDES permit, AQMD permits, EPA standards, and any other regulatory standards. And so now I'll be going over the project milestones and the consultant selection. And so on August 16, 2023, the TOS was issued to all firms on the pre-qualified list. On August 30, a pre-proposal meeting was held. And so 6 primes and the on-call had attended. The 6 attendees were Atkins, DR Consultants and Designers, Stantec, Black & Veatch, Brown & Caldwell, and HDR. 3 primes had submitted a negative response. Black & Veatch stated that personnel is currently committed to other assignments. Hazen and Sawyer stated that they could not comply with the desired project schedule, and Soma stated that they could not provide the level of expertise that this project requires. And so for our record of selection on September 26, we received 2 proposals, one from Stantec and one from Atkins. Upon evaluation of all the proposals, the panel and raters recommend Stantec because we felt that their proposals satisfied the scope and budget requirements. Their personnel qualifications experience were impressive, and their technical approach was well planned and thorough, and that their project management approach demonstrated a high level of organization and attention to detail. I also want to add that Atkins, they did do well, but their proposal was considered non-responsive because they had a sub-consultant that was on their that was not approved on their Schedule A. And so unfortunately, we had to deem them non-responsive. We tried to give them a chance to shift through records and our own records as well. And unfortunately, we had to deem them non-responsive. And so going over the scope of services for this project, it includes but are not limited to maintaining proactive management across all project activities and facilitating project success, and to provide technical support in the assessment and evaluation of the systems in the following areas, from our digester screening facility to our DICE-2 wet wells, our DICE-2 wet wells to our DICE-2 centrifuges, our DICE-2 centrifuges to our DICE-2 wet cake pumps, and our wet cake pumps to the truck loading facility silos. And after this assessment is done, they'll be identifying and evaluating and developing the best option to add an emergency storage facility that either stores digested sludge or biosolids for a minimum period of 7 days. And of course, perform any additional tasks that may be required as part of this study as directed by the task manager. And so in regards to the business inclusion plan, Stantec Consulting Services pledges as follows based on the task order amount of $200,000. MBE 0%, SBE 24%, EBE 0%, DVBE 0%, WBE 24%, and OBE 0%. And in regards to the financing, this TOS will be funded by the Sewer Capital Fund, Fund number 761, to not exceed the amount of $220,000, and there is no impact to the general fund. And lastly, I want to add, though the on-call, as you may be aware, is expiring July 22nd, 2024, and that deadline is quite close. We are still confident that the team and Stantec can get the project done. Again, it's just a study. So, and we've already been preparing some materials. So, if given the notice to proceed, we'll start right away conducting the job box and doing the study. There's no construction involved, and so we're confident that we can finish by the end of June. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. I have probably a technical question, but I'll ask at the end. I'm gonna go Vice President Villegas and then Dr. Davis.
Thank you. And thank you for your report. It was very thorough. Just a couple of questions. If you can just specify, what on-call list did you say this was from?
So this is from the LA San, I believe, General On-Call
I'm sorry,
Consult.
can you,
The LA San, City of Bureau of Sanitation, on-call, the general on-call consultant list.
okay,
Yeah, their TOS on-call list.
okay. So
Yeah.
you don't have it doesn't have a name.
I'm not sure what the official name is, but it's a list of
Okay, usually we
pre-qualified.
deal with Bureau of Engineering,
Okay,
and they have various lists
Yeah.
for architectural services, some engineering services, waste management services. So that's why I was asking which type of list this was.
oh, okay, yeah. As far as I was only told they're on-call. That's how they refer to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's one
The general.
general list.
Yes, yes.
All right, and then just if you could just specify again, you said it's going to be expiring this year?
Yeah, July 22nd, 2024. All work has to be done by then.
Okay, and what if Santec cannot complete the work?
So, I mean, we have till July 22nd, and so unfortunately, all work has to be done. Anything after July 22nd has to cease. So, whatever they provide, they would give to us. So, we're expecting a concept report, not a full pre-design report. So, there will be a deliverable, and so, but we are confident that we can finish it by the end of June. Again, it's just a study. There's no construction-related activities involved.
Yeah, I see that,
Yeah.
just with the characterization of what their scope is.
Oh, okay.
It's not necessarily bricks and mortars, it's more design or potential identification of sites for this sludge.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and so will that is all to the extent that this consultant will be doing, is that correct?
Yes, just evaluation, very minimal pre-design. So it's not going to be they're not going to be delivering a full pre-design package that we can bring straight into construction. We'll be receiving the reports, and then have to be evaluating. Oh, is this feasible? Or do we have all the parameters? Have they all been checked off?
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the work that Stantec will be doing, will they also identify any potential permits?
So we did ask them. We in our evaluation, we had an interview email sent out per se of additional questions. We asked them to consider permitting, odor control, and various other factors just to make sure we get everything. So we are asking them to consider permitting into the report that they'll be providing.
All right. Obviously, like AQMD comes to mind, with this type of work. And so then they will be including that in their report if it needs a permit.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so they'll be coordinating with them.
Yes, I will let them know to include that if
Okay.
it needs one. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't have any.
Thank you, VP Villegas. The most I can get was that it's task order SN-165.
Yes, task order
Okay,
solicitation.
perhaps can you send us what does SN-165 mean?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I can send it to you. I believe it's just a naming convention, task order solicitation sanitation 165.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well.
I'll send
Okay. Yeah. Please look into it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Davis.
Yeah, I just wanted to know in terms of the technical support services funding for this project, how will we receive these funds from what, state and local funds or from federal dollars involved?
So the funding, the status of financing, I was provided by the fund manager. And of course, it has to go to the Office of Accounting and all that. They had told me that it would be funded by the Sewer Capital Fund, Fund
Okay,
number
gotcha.
761,
Got
and
it.
that there would be no impact to the general fund.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Any other questions, colleagues? Seeing none. Any objections? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 3 forward and forthwith? Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Mr. Knight, there's a first by VP Villegas and a second by Commissioner Reyes to move item number 3 forward and forthwith.
Thank you, sir.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote, starting with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, you too.
Colleagues, item number 4 is continued. Moving on to item number 5. This is a request of the Bureau of Engineering in Council District 4 for revised construction order to Clark Contracting Corporation, APN Way, 8589 Bulkhead Project, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue a revised construction order for the project with a not-to-exceed amount of $549,457 with 75 cents. And this morning, we have Mr. Smith here. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you, everyone. Patrick Schmidt, Bureau of Engineering, Geotechnical Engineering Division. So this motion is in regards to the Appian Way bulkhead project near an address of 8589 Appian Way. On April 5th of 2023, the city engineer issued a construction order to Clark Contracting Corporation from our emergency pre-qualified on-call list in the amount of $498,159 in accordance with the Board of Public Works approved policy for the use of the emergency pre-qualified on-call geotechnical structural contractors list. During construction of the project, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power was unable to isolate the overhead power lines, requiring additional work by the contractor to facilitate the construction. The cost of the additional work was $51,298.75. Change orders to facilitate this additional work will exceed the city engineer's authority of $500,000 for this contract. So we're requesting the approval of this motion to allow the increase in the project contingency to accommodate the additional work that needs to be performed. The additional funding is available in the Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Program Special Fund. We therefore move that the board authorize the city engineer to issue a revised construction order for the project with a not to exceed amount of $549,457.75. That concludes this motion. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. You're always very thorough with your reports. Any questions to Mr. Smith? Hearing none, we were just like, we trust you. Kidding. No, sometimes we do ask a ton of questions.
been a
See,
long
this one
day.
seems pretty straightforward. All right, so hearing no questions, any objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 1 forward and forthwith? Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes and Dr. Davis. Mr. Knight, there's a first by VP Villegas and a second by Commissioner Reyes and Dr. Davis to move item number 5 forward and forthwith.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on item number 5, starting with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Item number 5 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
You too. Have a good rest of the week. Moving on to item, well, actually, we're going to let Troy come on forward before we go into our administrative items. So Troy is here for item number 10. This is Sewer Repair Financial Assistance Program Policy Number 811 Update from the Bureau of Sanitation. And Mr. Troy is in the house. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just here to provide an update on the program and how it's going. So again, just want to lead with some background again. The city has over 700,000 sewer lateral connections, with about 12% of those showing damage due to roots. The main reason why this program was started was to reduce root intrusion or root issues with our sewer laterals and our main line for our collection system. So there are 2 rebates available, one for videotaping your private sewer lateral, and we offer up to $300. And the other rebate is for repairing your lateral, and we offer up to $1,000. So each homeowner who pays a sewer service charge can receive up to $1,300 for videotaping and repairing their sewer lateral if they choose to do so. So looking into the stats as leading up to today, So far, during the from the start of the program inception back in January of 2022, we've received a total of 165 applications, with 100 of them being approved. So about a 61% approval rate. Just looking specifically at this fiscal year, we've received a total of 37 applications and approved 14 of those applications. Since the program started up till now, today, we've issued approximately a little over $48,000 in rebates money to applicants or city residents. As far as outreach efforts, we've been working a lot with PAO to kind of increase awareness of the program and have more applicants apply. So some of the outreach efforts we've been doing, we conducted an interview with Channel 35 to promote the program. We've delivered signs with QR codes to all of the BOE district offices, and also building and safety for the people who go to the counter to apply for sewer permits. So that information is readily available to them for QR codes that they can just use to scan with their phones to find out more about the program and to apply. We've also put up information about our program on the BOE website. We noticed that a lot of people don't really go to the counter. They apply online for permits. So we figured that that's a good way for them to know about the rebate as they apply for an S permit. And then lastly, we've worked with Empower LA to send out a newsletter to all of the neighborhood councils to pretty much remind them about the program. So that concludes my update. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you for that, Mr. Is there any question, Vice President Villegas?
Just a quick question, and thank you so much for giving us the update. I'm glad to see that the city is, putting out the money that residents pay through their property taxes and putting that back out to the community. And if you could just clarify, this is been going on since how long?
Since 2020, January 2022.
Okay,
About 2 years ago, yeah.
So 2 years, we put out about 48,000
In rebate money, yes.
annually?
No,
Or is
just
that
since-
total?
for the 2 years?
Okay.
Yeah, it's lower than we expect, but that's why we're trying to do more and more outreach and continue to make people
Yeah.
aware. Yeah.
Do we do any mailers on like bills with Department of Water and Power?
No, we have sent that, or we've kind of suggested that to our financial management division. Apparently, there was an effort to do that with one of their programs, and for some reason that didn't happen or that couldn't happen, and kind of never followed up with it. But we haven't done that yet. But that's a suggestion that I've raised to my management.
Yeah,
including
that would
in the
be
bill.
just a recommendation,
Okay.
just to go back and perhaps look at it. I'm not sure what the nuances are there. That's a good way just to get the word out for folks. One last question: if folks have been applying and they didn't get approved the first time around, are they able to apply again for the following year? And is there anyone that's giving technical assistance to those that didn't get it the first time around, if they can improve their application and get a win the next time around?
So the reason why residents typically do not get approved is due to an issue with their application. We require certain things that they need to complete. So it's not because of a money issue. There's definitely money available. But what we're noticing is that people are missing key information. For instance, the address is not showing on their video when the contractor sends a video to us. We review it. We don't see the address, so we don't know if it's their property, or they could be missing, or they won't be up to date on their payments with water and power. So it's key things like that of why they're missing. But if they want to repeal, they have the option to do that. They send us a repeal request, and then they have we have a 30-day process where they are able to send up information that they're missing, and we have a 30 days to review it and approve. So there's an appeal process for people who get denied.
Okay. All right, that's helpful. And do we have any, do we have fact sheets or like a frequently asked questions?
Yeah, we have a fact sheets. We have frequently asked questions. We have essentially a website on the LA San website that has all of that information on there.
All right, and can this be linked to our virtual counter?
Yes, and that's so by that you mean the BOE?
Correct.
Yes, that's where we currently have on the BOE site. So when they go pull out an S permit on the BOE site, we have a blurb that talks about the program, and it has a link to the website where they can find out more information.
Okay, and so then they can talk to a real person.
Yes, we have a customer care center division that has all of our fact sheets in hand, and they've been trained to address any questions specific to the
Okay.
program. Yeah.
All right. And is this an application that a homeowner can do, or do they need a consultant to be able to do it for them?
A homeowner can do it. It's pretty straightforward. And also, we notice a lot of realtors. They do it for people. They're for their clients as well. So it's something that anyone could do. And if they have questions, they always have a number to call, or they have our email address, our dedicated email, where we're able to assist them with it.
Okay. And do you have a website? Do you know of a website, if you want to just say it now for public's education?
SLR rebates at lacd.org.
What was that?
lacd.www.lacd.org/SLR rebates.
Oh, SLR.
SLR rebates. And it's just one R.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
That's all.
Okay. Thank you for that, Vice President Villegas. Any other questions, colleagues? Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate your updates and look forward to the next one. Thank you for
Thank you.
improving our outreach efforts.
Thank you. Will
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you.
All right, colleagues, item number 11 has been continued to March 20th. And so with that, we just have our last administrative items, which are item 6. Give me a second. 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I think I can take those together, correct? Right.
Yes, you can, President.
Perfect. So I'll just read them into the record and then we'll vote once on that. There's item number 6 is a stop notice for Robertson's. Robertson's is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $873.73 for work done for Green Building Corp. In connection with the Donald Tillman Water Reclamation Plant ancillary warehouse facility installation. Item number 7 is a release of stop notice to Robertson. Robertson's is transmitting a release of stop notice in the amount of $873.73 for work done in, is this a repeat? 8, 7, and 6, Mr. Knight? Or it's two different ones?
I believe it is 2 different releases of stop notice. There are 2 different Board of Public Works numbers assigned to each. There are different Board of Public Works numbers assigned to each one.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay. I see it now. Okay. It's just the amounts threw me off. Okay. So it's transmitting a release stop notice in the amount of $873.73 for work done in connection with the Donald Tillman plant ancillary warehouse facility installation. The primary contractor is Green Building Corp. Item number 8 is a stop notice for Lead Electric Inc. Lead Electric Inc. is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $186,264.99 for electrical instrumentation and materials for OHL USA Inc. in connection with the Argo Drain Sub-Basin Facility. Item number 9 is a stop notice to GGG Demolition Inc. GGG Demolition Inc. is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $81,366.25 for abatement for Myers and Sons Construction LLC in connection with the wastewater treatment plants and other wastewater facilities. Is there a motion is there a second to my motion to approve items 6, 7, 8, and 9?
President Garcia, before someone takes a motion, I would just like to offer clarification. Item number 6 is a stop notice. Item number 7 is a release of stop notice. So that's why the identical dollar amount.
Okay, thank you for that. You know what, it's really clear now that you said that, so thank you for that. I was going based on the report and the communication numbers. They're different on that. Okay. Thank you. Any issues, colleagues? Hearing none, is there a second to my motion to approve items 6, 7, 8, and 9? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Mr. Knight, there's a first by me and a second by Commissioner Reyes to approve items 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on items number 6, 7, 8, and 9, starting with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and items 6, 7, 8, and 9 are received forthwith.
Thank you for that. Mr. Knight, have we cleared today's desk?
Yes, we have.
Great, very well. It is now 11:16, colleagues, and this meeting's officially